Thank you for joining us on Salt and Pepper Unleashed. This ain't your grandma's nursing home. I am pleased to be joined today by Megan Hestand, Director of Community Life Services at Greenwood Village South, and her partner in crime, Mr. Jared Amich, Community Life Coordinator at Greenwood Village South. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. For those of you that may not know, Community Life Services is responsible for the programming of activities in the community. Megan's often referred to as the Director of Fun with all caps, but the role that she and Jared play in our community is so much more than that. Over the past 2 decades, dozens of studies have shown that seniors with a sense of purpose in life are less likely to develop Alzheimer's disease, mild cognitive impairment, disabilities, heart attacks, or strokes, and may very well be more likely to live longer than people without this kind of underlying motivation. So even though on the surface it may seem like it's just a bunch of fun, what you do really has a significant purpose in the life and the longevity and the well-being of this entire community. So first of all, thank you for what you do every single day, and welcome to the show. And with that, we're going to jump right in and start with the questions, because I have a feeling our viewers are curious about what the Director of Fun, a day in life, looks like.
Different every day.
It sure is. It sure is. So let me start with this. How does the Community Life program reflect a philosophy of aging that values growth, autonomy, and continued purpose like we talked about?
Our program, our department is all about continuing to learn, continuing to have new experiences. We are always looking out for opportunities to bring in fun holidays or bring in a speaker or something new that residents may not have experienced in their past life. They can still show them that they can still learn and grow and have an enriching life in the retirement age.
She just nailed it on the head, or is there anything?
I mean, she nailed it. That's why she's the boss, right?
That's right. So then what are some of the subtle ways, subtle but powerful, that you help residents feel that continued sense of relevance and contribution in their later years?
Yeah. Our volunteer program, I think, is probably representation of that the most. Whether they want to do something kind of more job focused that has a lot more responsibilities, where they work at the village shop downstairs up at the library, or we have people who like to lead activities and visit with the residents to have more of a connection point of view and that type of thing. They contribute to that a lot.
And I love the fact that there's quite a spectrum when it comes to how our residents engage, not from a self-serving point of view, but from a very selfless point of view. And like you said, whether it's that kind of that jobs-oriented type role, or it's I'm giving back to other individuals, other human beings, and creating a kind of a sense of connection that those may not have otherwise. I think that's pretty amazing to see a spectrum within the spectrum of what you do with all of the programming. So with that, what kind of impact do you see on the residents' lives as they engage with this type of programming?
Gives them something specific to look forward to every day. We pass out a monthly activity calendar, and I know of so many residents who highlight the activities that they're looking forward to over the month, and they put it up on their fridge so they don't forget to go. And if there's something they want to join, like National Tattoo Day, they will get their friends to go with them, and it will become just a big party in the lobby that we didn't expect.
So tell me more about National Tattoo Day.
That was a hit. We didn't know how many people were going to be coming, but we had probably a few dozen that came through. Either got one tattoo, or some people got like whole sleeves.
Really?
Yep.
And when one resident came back about a week later because she wanted to scare her grandkids, she came by to borrow a few of them. I didn't ask her how that went, but
that's a must follow up. We've got to follow up on a
Yep.
future episode on that one.
Absolutely.
You've got some homework. I want you to write that down because I want to know how that did go. Anyone
Tattoos.
with a neck or face tattoo? Anyone go that route?
they joked about it. We had a couple staff members do a neck tattoo,
Okay.
but some of the residents joked about the face tattoo, but they didn't go through with it.
Oh,
They were all
chickens.
talking. Yeah.
We're gonna have to. You gotta
Maybe next year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a little peer pressure next time, maybe. So that's a very different type of activity. One that I would almost guarantee no one that's outside of the realm of senior living would ever assume would be an activity that we do. So tell me about the decision-making process and your guiding principles in how you create a calendar of activities, events, outings, and engagements that are fulfilling for 470 residents across the entire community. How do you develop a calendar that is going to fill the needs, wants, and desires of all of them?
Yeah, it can be a challenge sometimes, but we have our CLS forum where we meet with residents every month to kind of get their input of things they would like to see, trips they would like to go on, and some of the kind of fun things like the tattoo stuff where, they have those silly holidays that happen every single day that people don't know about. And you go in there and you pick a few that could, bring up a fun activity like the tattoos or a lot of the food tasting stuff that people might not usually try and whatnot. But looking at people's past, the careers they've had, where we go, we have a lot of veterans here, and going to the National Air Force Museum in Dayton is one of those things that really speaks to people to kind of look back in their past and kind of see where they've come from. Can be really fulfilling for them.
Absolutely. All right, I'm gonna put you on the spot. You two better know this. What is today's fun holiday? August 1st, 2025. You're lucky. There's some folks in the room. Production is looking right now.
What is it? Is it National
There-
IT Day? What is it?
There's probably 50 national holidays today. Have you looked at the website?
50 today.
There-
It takes
yeah,
a long time to go through that website.
There are a lot of options for
That
each
is
day.
wild. All right, so what is the funnest fun holiday that you've celebrated in terms of it got the best response?
Anything that involves food or alcohol.
Well,
Month,
okay. That's
last
fair.
month we had National Wine and Chocolate Day, so we did a wine and chocolate pairing.
That's
good.
kind of not fair. That's you don't have to do that on the holiday, and it's going to be
That's
a great
true,
turnout.
but we did.
Okay.
It went really well.
So what about one of these atypical, kind of a you call them Hallmark holidays, but this is different than a Hallmark holiday. These are very silly holidays. What's something that is kind of out of the box that got a great response?
National Guinea Pig Appreciation Day.
National
That was a good
Guinea
one.
Pig Appreciation Day. And tell us, what did we do on National Guinea Pig Appreciation Day?
So many may not know that our executive chef, Matt Steinbron, is a guinea pig fanatic.
Oh, goodness. I thought you were getting ready to say that he makes dishes with guinea pigs.
It is a delicacy in some countries.
Really?
I had to learn
Okay.
that.
We
I
don't
was-
talk
I
about
told
it.
the residents not to talk
in the United
about
States,
it.
though, right?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
All right. Fair enough.
Yeah.
He and his wife Meredith brought 7 of their 9 guinea pigs to the meeting room, and they talked about the different types of guinea pigs there are, the different breeds, and then the residents got to learn fun facts about them.
Funnest fact that you heard.
One of them can do a trick. I think it was Breadstick was his name, and he can sit on command.
Sit on command. Tell me, hopefully they shared with you, how did they decide why and which 2 stayed home?
I believe they said the 2 that stayed home are not really people guinea pigs.
Oh,
Okay. Yeah, I didn't get that.
gonna
Yeah.
have some finger nibbling maybe
Yep.
going on. Okay, that's fair. Probably good to mitigate that risk. So tell me about so you're going off of past experience. You're going off of the success that you have with events. You're going off the Fun Holiday website. Tell me what role residents play in creating the opportunities that you present each month.
I think the most important thing we can do is just build relationships with them. If we don't know the residents that live on campus, we're not going to be successful. we could have a large group who enjoy going to the theater this year, but 5 years from now, that may not be the case. And if we don't maintain those relationships, then we're not going to give offerings that are going to be meaningful.
Absolutely. Anything else to add to that?
I mean, we even have some residents that, and I love to see this, if they have a really trip that they want to do, they might build me this like little packet, like all the information there. Once I see stuff like that, I know like I need to get that on the calendar as soon as possible, so they know that they're being heard. And because again, they really want to do that thing, because they put all the effort in to let me see that. So again, building these relationships the way I feel comfortable enough to be like, hey, can we do this thing, and know that we'll follow through and be like, it's on the calendar.
I think that's awesome that there's that level of collaboration between you and your team and the residents. But tell me about how the Community Life Services team collaborates with other departments to put on events, outings, and come up with fun ideas to engage.
We cannot exist without other departments.
Oh, yeah. Especially dining.
Dining, EVS, plant services, IT. If we do not have a great relationship with those departments, then we're not going to have the help that we need to actually execute them.
I mean, IT is not that important, are they?
A little iffy, honestly. Anybody can learn a computer.
That's right. I was actually off subject just a little bit. I was a little perturbed this week when I realized that we changed the computer password on the presentation computer from 1234 to I don't know what, because that 1234 was really handy there for a while, but security's up and fun is down. What are you gonna do? All right, so back to topic here. Describe how residents' backgrounds, values, and even life experiences help shape and influence program development. And then kind of tagging onto that, give me an example of something that came to fruition, that came to light around that same topic. Maybe a resident surprised you with something.
A lot of that is they like to have their own resident-led activities. We just recently started a third version of euchre because a resident is very passionate about bid euchre. I have a resident leading mahjong who really enjoys teaching the game, and she took that over. This month, we have one of our cottagers who is giving a talk on the northern lights in the Arctic Circle. He is an avid traveler and hiker and has given travel talks at least twice a year, and always gets around 60 residents coming to hear from his experience.
That's more than I get at the budget meeting each year. Goodness.
I'll say Mahjong's been a hit.
Yeah,
It's funny that first day they had about, I think, a dozen people show up to just kind of learn kind of what it is. And it's like an intensive game to learn. I tried one time and I couldn't stick with it. Now they have like a solid core of like 5 to 6 people, but they are laughing and having a great time.
That's awesome.
Because they play right by my office, so I can hear them all the time. It's good.
That's so cool.
And that's part of getting to know the residents, is those aren't necessarily activities that Jared or I would have been able to implement without them.
Right.
But them bringing those ideas is making it a full collaborative department.
So breaking down, and I'm going to challenge you here with numbers. Off the top of your head, activities that are led by the department versus activities that are led by residents. Kind of percentage split, what would you think that is? And then throw us a number out there so folks can kind of grasp how many different engagement opportunities there are.
About 1,600 in the last 6 months.
1,600
activities across the board.
1,600 activities in 6 months.
In 6 months.
Holy moly.
About 450 of those are resident-led activities. The rest of them come from Jared and I. They come from Margie, our wellness center manager for fitness classes. They come from recurring activities like bingo.
Wow.
So
1,600 in 6 months. That is impressive. I'm going to have someone check me on my math, but 275 a month. You're looking at about 10 a day, every single day. That is if you're not busy, if you're not engaged, it's your fault. Would you say that that's accurate?
I agree. Yeah.
It's actually interesting, and I know that you've heard this. One of my favorite frustrations that I've ever heard from residents, and I've heard it multiple times. This is ridiculous. There's just too many things to do. What? I'm sorry. I'm sorry that there's so many great opportunities. Said no one ever.
Exactly.
That's a good problem to have.
Yeah, it is. And that's exactly what I share with them. I'm like, you know what? If you're going to have a problem today, that's one of the best problems I think I'd pick off the shelf. And then they kind of cool off and they're like, okay, yeah, that is pretty awesome that I've got all these opportunities. So that's great. Tell me about, and I've seen this before, and we see it at work with, I'll use dining as an example. We typically have younger servers in the dining room, high school kids, college kids, and the residents are just absolutely drawn to those relationships. And they build such meaningful relationships. And I love watching those interactions. I think it's great for the residents. I think it's great for the staff. Tell me how you program around intergenerational opportunities and how you kind of bring that type of connection into the programming intentionally.
Part of that is incorporating outside sources. We have mother and son who come to visit our manor and pavilion residents. He's 2 years old now, I think. And the residents love to get to know him. It's a weekly occurrence that they all look forward to. Also, building in opportunities for residents to bring their families. The fireworks event is probably my favorite event of the year because you get to meet the residents, their grandkids, their great-grandkids, everybody they've ever met. They'll bring in, you'll all party together.
Yeah, that is awesome. That event is arguably probably the biggest turnout every single year of any event. I think Easter egg hunt is a good one
It's
too.
a good one.
Or,
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
a lot of grandkids come into that. So, those are all. I see those interactions, and they're so rich with personal connectivity. It's almost palpable, and so the more we can do that, I think it's better for everybody. So, all right, how about this? Throwing this question out there for you. I have come to realize that residents like structure. They like to know what to expect, and they do not like change. However, when things get stale, we want something new, right? And so how do you balance this structure of offered programmed events with a level of spontaneity and maybe a little surprise and keeping them on their toes? How do you balance that out?
I think there's a good natural balance between like the resident-led activities and the activities that we provide, because a lot of the resident-led activities are the ones that are reoccurring that they don't want to change, whether it's bingo, bridge, euchre, now mahjong, all those sorts of things. And then when we come in, we provide that spontaneity and kind of that variability. Of course, you have some things that are going to be consistent, which they want, but like those random national holidays that they don't ever see coming or whatnot brings up that spontaneity that sometimes they're missing. But again, there's just that good natural balance. I think that happens.
Yeah. So I'm curious. I'm sure you've had multiple, but can each of you share a time where, and whether it was structured, spontaneity, intergenerational, whatever it was, but tell me a time where there was a moment, there was an interaction, either one that you were a part of or two that you witnessed, that it gave you goosebumps, it gave you chills, and it made you think, wow, this is why I do what I do, and this is why my role is so important.
You may go first?
Go ahead.
Mine's not really around a specific activity, but back in high school, I worked at the Legends Golf Course. And there's a resident here now and I worked at the car barn, so I washed the carts, I took trash, all that stuff from the golf course. And one of the residents would come every once in a while, and he collected cans from the trash so he could recycle and then donate the money to charity. And then I think it was about a year after I started working here, he moved in here, and he's always been so kind and thanking me for what I've done. But it was kind of that first he was helping me in high school and whatnot, and then now I'm helping him in my professional career.
Wow.
And that felt really special.
That is
That was
so cool.
Yeah.
Jared, I've known you for a while, and I never knew that or heard that. I'm gonna have to follow up with you after and figure out who that is, because that is really neat.
Oh, yeah.
That's a really neat story.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Follow that, Megan.
What I always reference with this question is we recently underwent a change in cable providers.
Oh, tell me more about
You
that.
may remember where we switched from one cable provider to another, and catastrophe after catastrophe after catastrophe kept happening. We started at plan A, probably ended up at plan W by the end. But even though it was incredibly stressful for everyone going through it, my favorite part is that the entire community banded together and we said, well, we're all in it together. We're going to figure it out and we'll come out together at the end. And that's exactly what happened. There was minimal complaining. Everyone did their part. Everyone was incredibly patient getting through it. And I think we're all better for it, even though I do not want to do it again.
Yeah, no, it's one of those that it's like you bond over the hard times, not the good times. And I will say, from the outside looking in, and kudos to the both of you, the entire IT team, and a ton of other folks that really pulled together with that. I think the fact that the residents witnessed and felt you going through it with them was so meaningful. And so it wasn't an us versus them. It was a us versus getting TV in my living room, right? That was the big bad monster, is not having cable television for a couple days. And so, just the fact that you were willing to, get in there in the trenches side by side with each other and with the residents, clearly they saw that and it meant a lot to them. And I would say that credibility probably gives you some social equity over time in other ways where maybe we fall short. And, probably hard to say, hey, remember when we went through that cable transition? I was there for you. But hopefully they remember that, even if it's subconsciously. So that's actually a really good transition, talking about cable. Technology is huge. And it's only going to become more and more of our lives and our residents' lives. And I know all too well that we still have quite a few residents that are not engaged in technology and intentionally push it away because they don't want anything to do with it. And there's others who the next best thing, they're in line to get the newest iPhone. I know there's many residents who have better iPhones than I do. And so where do you see that going in the future? And how do you see your programming and your roles changing and adapting to the influence that technology will inevitably have on it?
I mean, technology is going to continue to grow, especially with senior living. Part of what we've implemented in community life the last couple of years is the Uniguest community app. We added it May of 2023, and I had so many residents say, oh, I'll never use it. What are you even thinking doing it? It's not going to be useful. We started with, I think, about 18 modules. We are now up to 50 modules on the app and averaging about 5,000 resident logins every month.
Wow.
And still regularly, I have residents say, okay, it doesn't seem so hard. Can you teach me how to use it? And once they get that initial tutorial, they are good to go. So just kind of getting past that initial roadblock of technology and change being scary is going to make a big step. Doing it slowly and doing it alongside them to show them that they have resources they can go to. They're not going to break something if they get to the wrong place. Belmere can fix just about anything.
Yeah. 18 to 50 is huge growth. Something I want our viewers and listeners to understand is what transpires to get from 18 to 19 and 19 to 20. And so what are the driving forces that take you from 18 base modules to 50, many of which we probably wouldn't have even thought of, right, if it weren't for some driving forces. So what are some of those driving forces that get us there?
Residents and staff saying, oh, what if we had this? Or me listening to a meeting and thinking, oh, what if we put all the expansion information on Uniguest so people can access? We just had a new module launched today where accounting can now have statements available for residents to look at for their invoices, and they can also pay online now. So constantly evaluating where we're at, what else can we do here to make it as valuable of a resource for everyone as possible.
So I think that's awesome, with technology and everything that's coming up over the horizon. But outside of that, what else can you share with us that's maybe around the corner, over the horizon with community life and programming that you've got planned for us that we may not know about yet?
Go ahead.
You want me to go ahead?
Oh, is this we're about to mic drop big announcement here?
I know about that.
No. I was just thinking way further ahead with the expansion and the magnitude of how much bigger some of the events that we can have can be, especially the auditorium, and just all the possibilities we have going is super exciting. And I'm sure residents are just going to be clawing at the opportunity to give us things that we should put on the calendar, have people brought in. So I'm looking forward to that very much.
Speaking of that, all right, sidebar here. What is the best resident suggestion you've ever received? And without names, what is the worst resident suggestion or kind of the silliest?
I don't know, not specific ones. There's a lot of suggestions for specifically day trips that are 3 to 4 hours away. And I was they sound cool, but it's that's just too much driving. I don't think we can do that.
Yeah.
And specifically, I don't know if I can think of the best one. There's been a lot of good ones.
There's usually good ones because they're always interested in finding something that will appeal to others. Yesterday, I had a resident come to my office who said next basketball season we should show Hoosiers and then go to Knightstown to see the museum about the basketball. He is not a resident who goes on trips. He is just suggesting it because he knows others would enjoy it.
Well, see, now that's even cool. The fact that, hey, I'm not interested in doing this, but let me share with you what I think others would be interested in. Even that level of participation and engagement is meaningful. That's interesting. I love that. All right, I've got to ask each of you, what has been your singular most favorite event, outing, activity that you've maybe not necessarily led, but experienced that the department has put on?
I would still say the fireworks event.
Fireworks?
Yep.
Okay.
It's a colossal amount of effort.
Yeah.
We have it down to a science now, but it's still a lot of effort. But really seeing 500 people come together, staff, residents, families, outside vendors, is my absolute favorite part, even though I am stressed the entire event time.
That's the thing with that. I wish we could somehow quantify and communicate the amount of work and effort and planning that goes into you all putting on what seemingly simple activities and programs. Not saying that fireworks is, but there's a lot of work that goes into all of the programming, and so I wish we could quantify that for your sake, just so people could fully appreciate what it takes to put on the magnitude of programming that you all do. So, but yes, I do know that is a monstrosity of effort, but the culmination is always amazing.
Absolutely worth it.
Yeah. You can't say fireworks now.
No, I wasn't going to.
Okay, all right.
Mine's not one big event. It's a continuous one that happens all month, every month. But the art gallery we have right outside the library is just super cool because there's so many residents that you don't realize how talented they are in the arts department, whether it's crafting or there's some very good painters on this campus.
Won't you share with our listeners and viewers what that is? Because I agree with you. It's really neat. And the fact that there's a constant flow of new material is quite telling in itself.
Yeah, so every month we highlight an artist, and right outside the library we have this big wall, and there's about 8 hooks on there, so they can have up to 8 pieces of artwork, and then we hang them for that entire month with their name on the wall. This month's actually kind of like a Mod Podge of paintings and kind of crafts. So again, they can put up anything they want. We even had a resident who, I don't think any of the stuff he made himself. He just wanted to like show what he had from other people.
Okay.
So again, there's a lot of variety. They don't have to be all original works. It could be something from their family that's like super old, or something that I think he even just cut out some stuff from a magazine and put it in a frame, and it was still pretty cool. Yeah,
That's awesome. That's really cool. I every new installation, maybe I catch it on the first of the month, or maybe it's a couple days into the month, but I catch myself like, oh, we got new material up here, and then it's always interesting to kind of see, all right, who's responsible for this. I'm curious, do any of the other residents know who the next artist on display is going to be, or is this kind of a surprise each month?
I think most people don't know. There's some people on like that kind of committee that sign up and know who's going to be on what, but usually it's a surprise. And usually, again, it's just like small frames, crafts. One time we put a door up there that someone had that was painted, so that was a bit different.
Yeah.
It was cool.
That's awesome. That is awesome. We've got quite a few artists here, team members as well.
Absolutely.
A lot of the things that we've done around the holiday times in terms of pumpkin decorating and we've had some
cool.
wild kind of outcomes with some very unique true artists. So the fact that 470 residents, another 350-ish employees, we've got 800 people here to kind of pull from a pool of talent that's vast and diverse. So very awesome. Well, I appreciate your time, Sharon, just scratching the surface really on everything that you do. But before I let you go, I do have a question for each of you, and it's our signature question. And what I want to know is, if you could be remembered for one thing only in your entire life, what would it be and why?
Mine's honestly nothing big. I just want people to remember kind of how I made them feel. I want people to feel heard and value. And I've always been a bit of like an active listener. So even if it's some stranger that starts chatting me up, like I'll sit there and talk with them as long as they want me to. And I want small things like that to be remembered.
Yeah, absolutely. You talk about legacy, the legacy that we leave. It's never the bank account. It's never what we accomplished when we worked. It's the relationships that we built with the people around us.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you sharing that, because I often, like many others, have to remind myself of that, when I get into the weeds of things. And so I think that would resonate with a lot of folks if they really stopped and just took a breath to think about it. So thank you.
Yeah.
Mine would be determination.
Determination.
You bring me a problem, I will figure it out. If you need help with a problem, I will do my best to help you figure it out. And if you don't bring me anything, I will make my own challenge and figure it out.
Megan, I have to share with you, you are well on your way to leaving that legacy. And it is a legacy to be proud of, because it is impressive what you do all the time, relentlessly. Just when I think you hit the ceiling, you hit capacity, she's about to overload. She's like, hey, was thinking, how about we do this as well? With kind of an angry twinkle in her eye. Yeah. Like she's almost aggressive with it. And I love it, because she's doing it for improvement, for betterment, for growth, not just of yourself, but of the community and of other people. So again, back to relationships, I do feel like that ties in very much, because you're wanting to make things better for the people around you, and you give quite selflessly to the people around you to accomplish that. So I have a feeling when we really look and dive deep into those answers, there's a lot of correlation there. So But either way, thank you both so much. I appreciate the time here on Salt and Pepper Unleashed, but even more so, I appreciate everything that you do for our residents, our team members, in this entire community. And we're going to continue to grow and have more and more fun because of you. So thank you.